now on to number 25, and this is going to wrap up our worst teams in the NFL, going from 32 to 25.
We like a couple of these teams.
The New England Patriots.
I had them higher.
One spot, right?
I haven't done 25 to
Patriots weren't in my bottom eight
next.
either. They were able to.
Yeah, these are your guys.
So the Patriots are here because of me and Rick.
Dolphins. I had the Dolphins at 25.
I feel like to explain that, I think me and Joel are probably on the same page.
If Tua's healthy, I don't think they're worse than the Patriots.
Yeah, I think if Tua's healthy, you get Reek back, you get Waddle back healthy. I think this offense has a higher floor than the Patriots
Their
offense.
offensive line terrifies me.
It is, but I think they can get the ball out quick, and they got Reek and they got Waddle who can make plays in the field, in open field. New England, I don't like their wide receiver room more than I like the Dolphins. Drake May, I do think is going to scale out and be better than Tua. Obviously, that's no question. But I feel like Tua is just a little bit more safer with that team. We know the floor he is when this team is healthy and when they're playing. Yeah, that's really much it, honestly. New England is just a lot of projecting, I feel like.
Yeah, so that's an interesting point. Although New England was my 25th team, they were the last team. I cut them in favor of the Dolphins to be at 24. I'm very optimistic on the Patriots. This 25th ranking is not a grim ranking. It's not like the Saints at 32 where I'm like, yeah, I don't like this team at all. I like the Patriots.
See them making the playoffs.
I could see them being in the hunt. I think the playoffs is a bit too rich because the defense, I like the additions. I like the secondary. The defensive line basically is adding Milton Williams and Christian Barmore because he was not healthy last year. Harold Landry's still good against the run, not a good pass rusher anymore. Robert Spillane, I like him a lot too. He plays with a sense of toughness that I think fits this culture and the identity that Mike Vrabel wants to lean into. It's the offense. That's what it is. And I think a successful season for the Patriots is number one, Drake May takes a step up. I think the fact that Drake May was able to play well in a very terrible situation, one of the worst run blocking and pass blocking situations in the NFL, is a huge positive sign that he's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. But the number one question mark and what they need to have this season be a success goes hand in hand with Drake May's improvement. It's somebody has to become the guy at receiver or at least a reliable option. Whether it's Stephon Diggs, not the most ideal because he's older and he can drop off at any moment. I think it has to be Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams against man coverage in college was second in yards per route run. He faced it over 50% of the time. I think Kyle Williams has some serious juice to be a breakout wide receiver from this class, and he was drafted later. I think he's going to be really good, but that's a successful season for the Patriots. It's Drake May taking a step, but one of those young receivers, whether it is Demario Douglas or Jalen Polk, Javon, I think Javon Baker it is a Kyle Williams. They have to take a step up.
Absolutely. I'm a little more optimistic on New England. Their floor is what gives me a lot of hope and optimism because defensively, I feel like this will be a top 10 unit. On the offensive side, I love the Travion Henderson pick, getting yourself a great run blocker as well as his offensive line. Hopefully takes a step forward this year, but I guess I also found myself a little more optimistic with Josh McDaniels coming as the offensive coordinator. Then you have Stephon Diggs, who before getting injured last year was still a very productive player for the Texans. And I feel like getting him as number one, it could be something maybe Adam Thielen and Carolina just to hold you over. And then on top of that, I like the Kyle Williams shot to give you that deep threat. And then I think Pop Douglas as a slot weapon, kind of someone that adds an extra layer underneath. That to me is what gives me the feeling that Drake May this year will be a lot more efficient and hopefully he'll be a lot better protected. So
yeah, I think when you just talk about New England and Miami, because they'd probably back-to-back New England. I don't know if they're much higher than 24, but maybe they sneak up to 22, 21. Okay. I definitely think New England's defense is better than Miami's. I feel pretty confident about that. Look at the coaching staff. I trust Mike Vrabel more than I do Mike McDaniel so far through his career. It just comes down to the offense. And I feel like what we've seen throughout Tua's career, Mike McDaniel's career, really their marriage together is that September and October, I know it's going to be hot. I know it's going to be sexy. This team's going to have games where they have 500 total, yards and 5 touchdowns and go nuts. But as the season goes on, as the weather turns, as they play tougher competition, we know what's going to happen to Miami. So I look at the power ranking, just talent for talent. Of course, you're going to take Tua over Drake May. You're going to take the receivers over what New England has right now. But I just feel like that's not a recipe for success with Miami. We have seen now for multiple years, you're not going to be able to just out offense everybody. Like this team, this offense is not good enough. Like it has gotten figured out throughout the years. And one of the biggest pieces they just let go of was Jonnu Smith, who last year, when you see so much of this cover too, is able to really eat up the middle of the field. Going from Jonnu Smith to Darren Waller, that's one of the biggest downgrades you're going to have, because Darren Waller was at the end in New York, not able to stay healthy and not good. Now he hasn't played football for a year. I'm not expecting him to come back and have anything more than 300, 400 receiving yards. So it's a big part of their offense that's just getting snatched right up. I still think Tyreek Hill is one of the elite wide receivers. He's in my top 10. He's not in the top 2 or 3 like he was the previous year, but I don't think Tyreek has shown anything to warrant him not being still an elite guy. Like he still moves different. He's still faster than everybody. It's just getting on the same page with Tua. And Jalen Waddle feels like one of the biggest question marks in the NFL for me, because I feel like after those first couple of seasons, he was on a trajectory to be a top 10 receiver pretty comfortably. The way he was able to get in and out of his routes, he moved different too, not to the extent of Tyreek Hill, but having that, 4.2 speed while being a great route runner, having solid hands and being good after the catch. His last couple of seasons, though, he's been banged up due to injury. He's never been able to find this rhythm. So he feels like just one of the biggest question marks, period. But I do think it's going to come down to this offensive line. They lose Teron Armstead, and you bring in James Daniels, right, who missed a majority of last season. This offensive line has the potential to be one of the worst in the NFL. And what we pair that with Tua, and I know it's an offense that's going to get the ball out quick. You're going to see HN in the passing game a ton. But man, that offensive line is going to be so bad. At least projecting it's going to be bad, that I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome that.
I just think that the question marks that we have about the Dolphins is whether or not they can win meaningful games, but never if they can beat those teams that they are favored to beat. They always do. The Patriots, I have question marks about if they can beat anybody.
I think they're going to be some teams.
I think they're going to be better
last year.
But the Dolphins, when Tua is healthy, they win games. They don't win the meaningful ones, but they win games.
I get that. When Mike Vrabel came into Tennessee, we saw that team immediately kind of defensively kind of get a lot tougher. And I feel like with all the additions they made, Carlton Davis, we didn't mention, there's not really a hole in that New England defense.
Yeah.
And that
their floor feels safe.
That to me is why I'm so optimistic that they're going to be a team that every single week, a lot like the Giants, but it's almost like a little bit more complete. You kind of trust this New England defense a little bit more. And then also...
Sorry, John.
You're good.
I trust the Dolphins offense more than the Patriots.
I feel like you guys are banking on New
that.
England's ceiling more than their floor. And I think their
with
ceiling is
Vrabel-
higher than...
I think with
It's the
Vrabel,
floor
your
that
floor
I'm-
feels
it's
like
not the ceiling,
it's
it's
not
the
3
floor.
wins, it's like 6.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the Dolphins' floor. 6.
Yeah, but
So I feel like that's why you guys are banking
I don't
on
think
this,
it's close.
Because they're in the same tier.
They
as
both
just-
feel like
New
6
England
to
has
10
a
win
higher
teams.
ceiling
They
than
are in
Miami,
the
which
same
is
tier.
I agree. Like New England has a higher ceiling.
I don't think you can have as much question marks as you have about the Dolphins and have no question marks about the Patriots offensive line.
No, I have questions. For
Because
sure.
Will Campbell, he's a rookie still.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the more pro-ready guys.
He'd be the best offensive lineman the Dolphins have.
Yeah.
He's a
Projected.
rookie still. And then
Projected. For sure.
Aaron Burr and
right tackle,
Johnson.
Morgan
Morgan Moses,
Moses,
solid.
who was solid, but he's older. And you don't know if he's going to last the entire season. Then Michael Wenu, Cole Strange, Garrett Bradbury. Garrett Bradbury is not good, not a good player. The Patriots offensive line ranked 32nd in pass block win rate this past season.
I guess there's more faith in Drake May handling pressure and also taking more hits than Tua. If Tua misses time, it's like the Dolphins aren't going to be able to game without him. And
Well, sorry to correct myself, but 31st in pass block win rate, 32nd in run block win rate. The Patriots very well had a bottom bar offensive line. I think they made additions to improve the floor of the unit overall. But I have major question marks about if the Patriots offense is going to be good. I don't know. I don't know what
serviceables we're hoping for.
like the ceiling of it is. Maybe like they ranked 19th in the NFL.
I don't think that's
That's
far
like the
off.
ceiling. Like the floor is like
Hey.
they could once again be one of the worst offenses in
If
the
you have a
NFL.
top 10 defense and your offense is maybe like 24th, that to me is an 8 to 9 win team. And also with the Dolphins, I believe why I'm so low on them is they don't have any outside corners. That with their offense line, there's so many glaring and gaping holes in that team. Really, you're banking on Tua to play 17 games if you think they're going to win more than the Patriots. That's the way
Hey,
I
but
look at it.
they're backup now, John. They got Zach.
Yeah, they also got Patrick Paul too at left tackle.
They got
Honestly.
Zach.
Yeah.
But
They're
with the
safe.
Dolphins, I think, they basically interchanged Ramsey with Minka. So last year, they didn't really have no safeties. Javon Holland had a down year, and then Ramsey was there. I think that their defense, it's definitely in a transition period, but I think their front seven is one of the best in football. especially when healthy. I think the front seven with Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Jordan Brooks is a Pro Bowl level linebacker. Their front seven is fine. That secondary is a problem, but their defense coordinator, Anthony Weaver, really got the best out of that defense last year.
For sure.
So, like, for me, I do think they're in the same tier. I like the Patriots ceiling a lot. We talked about Trayvon Henderson a little bit. Trayvon Henderson, I think, is like the wild card to, if it's not a receiver breaking out for the Patriots, I think it's him. And I think he has probably the best outlook because I think he should get more touches than Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah. And if he can turn into somebody that you can rely on the run game, we know McDaniels is going to bring in a play action heavy system. Last year, they weren't able to run a lot of play action because Drake May turned his back to the defense and was often getting hit on those plays. So they had to limit those. But if they can at least be okay in a run game, you can sprinkle in more play action and you can sprinkle in more easy completions for Drake May. So I think Trayvon is going to be a huge part of their success.
Yeah, I'm not sold on really any of the receivers breaking out. I think Kyle Williams has like a chance. I think all of them have about of an equal chance to do it. I think Stephon Diggs has the inside track, but he's still coming off an injury. Don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1. In the limited time they had together, Demario Douglas was the one getting the most targets, just being that slot receiver. He could, win routes quick and just get the ball to Drake May's hands. But TreVeyon Henderson is the guy on this offense that could become a superstar, right? Like, even if we think Kyle Williams could break out, these guys could be the team's number one. TreVeyon Henderson is the piece I'm looking at saying,
difference maker.
This is a guy that you can build an offense around. Like, we've seen the explosiveness at Ohio State. He has the ability to not only rush the ball, but also be a great receiver and a great blocker. He has that 3-down skill set. And Ramondre Stevenson, his biggest issue throughout his career has been a fumbling issue. And it wasn't sliding. Last year, he ended up getting benched in the first half of a game. Vrabel, if you put the ball on the floor, he's not going to be someone that's going to continue to trust you, even if it's just a rookie behind you. So I'm most excited to see Henderson in this offense, see how Josh McDaniels can utilize him because he's their best offensive weapon.
TreVeyon, 0 fumbles and 667 touches.
He was a dog last year.
And 7.6 yards per touch, the best in the rookie draft class.
He wasn't the workhorse for Ohio State, though. It was Junkins.
Yeah. Good, because he got injured. And then he was on pace to be a first-round running back. He got hurt. And I like that they managed his workload more. So